Hi students, can you please confirm I'm audible or not? Online students, can you please confirm? Yeah, thanks for the confirmation. Okay, so in the previous session, like a one demo is completed, right? As of now. So this is the second demo. Okay, so in the previous session, first of all, I have discussed about the your trainer details. Okay, so my name is Tirumalesh. You can call Tirumalesh or you can call Sar also. Okay, why? Because in the company we are going to call with the names only. We are having the different kinds of team members. Like a we are having the team members available. Okay, team lead available. Okay, tech lead available, and also we're having the scrum master available, and also manager available. Okay, for every person we are going to call with the names only. Okay, not going to call with the sir. Okay, if you're having senior member also, we are going to call with the names only. Okay, and also we're having I have a 6+ years of experience in the IT, and also as of now I have worked in the 3 institutes. Okay, and also currently I'm working as a tech lead in the one of the product based company. Okay, currently I'm joining as in the service based company. That service based company is sent to the product based company. Okay, and also currently my tech stack, what is the tech stack nothing but technologies. What are the technologies I have worked as my 6+ years of experience? Okay, like I have worked with Java, J2W technology, and also I have used some framework like a Spring framework, Spring Boot framework, and also I have worked some front end technology like a React and Angular, and also I have worked some of the cloud technologies like a AWS technologies. Azure also I have worked, but mainly I have worked on the AWS. Okay, and also Linux. Okay, these two are the mandatory for the Java developers. Okay, not only Java developer, if you like if you're learning the Python also, Python developers also, this AWS and Linux are required. Okay, why? Because after developing the application, if you want to keep our application in the live environment, live environment means production environment. For example, currently our website is running in the live, right? So this is running in the live environment. Okay, this is called as a production environment. If you want to keep our application in the live environment, at the time we are going to use the AWS and Linux. Okay, so there is having the in the AWS some services available like a EC2 service available. By using the EC2 service, we can set up the any kind of mission. For example, I want to set up the Linux mission. Okay, for example, if you purchase the Linux mission, for example, if you purchase the laptop cost will be 30,000, right? Minimum 30,000 available or 40,000. Okay, instead of purchasing the new laptops, we can set up the laptops in the AWS. Okay, in the AWS it is providing EC2 service. In the by using EC2 service, we can set up the Linux mission or Unix like we can set up any kind of mission, guys. Okay, for example, I want to set up the Windows mission. I don't want to purchase the Windows mission. I want to use the I want to use the in the AWS there is having the EC2 service. By using EC2 service, we can set up any kind of mission. We can set up the Windows mission. We can set up the Linux mission. We can set up the Ubuntu mission. Okay, we can set up the Fedora mission. We can set up the Red Hat mission. We can set up any kind of missions. Mission nothing but a computer, guys. Okay, by using EC2 service, we can set up the any kind of missions. Okay, so for example, my requirement is I want to use the 10 days of the time. Okay, I want to use only 10 days of the time. I wanted 10 laptops. Okay, for example, one laptop cost is 30,000. Okay, if you want to purchase the 10 laptop, how much money we need to invest here? 3 lakhs of the money we need to invest. Okay, 3 lakhs of the money we need to invest. Okay, instead of investing 3 lakhs of the money, so we need to use the EC2 service. We can set up the 10 laptops in the EC2 mission. Okay, if you set up the 10 laptops in the EC2 mission, the budget is very less. Okay, within 30,000 only we can set up 10 days. Okay, so like this it is giving like AWS is providing some rent for the machines. Okay, instead of purchasing physical machine, we can purchase the virtual machines. Okay, so why we need to purchase this machine, guys? Why? Because our application is going to run in the Linux machines only. Okay, so this application, if you see this application is running in the Linux machines only. Okay, why it is running in the Linux machine? Can we run in the Windows machine? We can run in the Windows machine, but Windows is not secure, guys. Windows machines are not secure. That's why it's mandated to keep our application in the Linux machine or Ubuntu machine or Fedora machines. Don't keep our application in the Windows machine. Why? Because Windows are not secured machines. Okay, why? Like when we are going to use the Windows machine, when we are going to use the Linux machine, guys, like my requirement is I want to play the games, I want to watch the movies. Okay, and I want to see the some user interface, then we can use the Windows machine. But I want to run my applications. Okay, my requirement is I want to run my application securely. At the time we are going to use the Linux machine. Okay, these are belongs to the Linux machines only. Okay, it is implementing all the missions in the Linux, like a Linux, Ubuntu, Fedora. These are the flavors of the Linux machine only. On the top of the Linux machine, these flavors got developed. Okay, so that's why AWS is very, very important, guys. Okay, not only AWS, we're having Azure and GCP. AWS having more demand in the market. Why? Because AWS is developed by Amazon company. Okay, AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. It is developed by Amazon company. And also I have I have used in the 6 years of experience, I have used many databases. Okay, so for initially I'm going to cover one database. Whenever developing the real-time projects, at the time I'm going to use the multiple databases. Actually, what is the use of databases, guys? What is the use of databases? Why databases came into the picture? Okay, before data, like if you want to store the data permanently, we can use the databases. Okay, before databases, there is having papers, guys. Okay, in the olden days, we are having the papers for storing of the data. Okay, so if you store the data in the papers, it is not permanent, right? For example, if you give the papers or books to the my friends or some kids, okay, that kids will be wrap the data, wrap the papers, right? Okay, they will remove the papers. Okay, they will wrap the papers, right? So it is not permanent. If storing of the data in the papers is not recommended. Why? Because it is not permanent. After some days, files came into the picture. Files. Okay, so for storing of the data in the files also not recommended. Why? Because so we can enter the duplicate data also, right? In the files we can enter the duplicate data, and also files is not secure, right? So if you give my laptop to the others, I have typed some data, right? I have typed some data. If I give this laptop to the others, okay, for example, I have give some kids for this laptop for playing the games. At the time they will remove the files also. They don't know anything. They will remove the files also, right? So that's why storing of the data in the files also not recommended. Why? Because these files are not secure. Everyone can remove the data. It will select like this, it will remove the data, right? So that's why these files are not secured, right? So that's why second times files came into the picture. That's why databases came into the picture. Okay, if you store any kind of data in the databases, like it is a permanent. For the storing of the data permanently in the companies, we are using the different kinds of databases. And also these databases are very, very secure. Okay, it is these databases are going to store, not going to store the duplicate data. Okay, so for example, I'm copying this data and I'm going to paste the same kind of data again. Okay, so this is the duplicate data, right? So we can paste, we can copy any number of time, we can paste any number of time. So it will become duplicate data. Okay, in the files we can store the duplicate data, right? But in the databases we are not able to store the duplicate data. Okay, always we can store the, it should be store the unique kind of data. Okay, so that's why there is having the lot of advantages if you store the data in the databases. In the market we are having the different kinds of databases, like a MySQL database, Oracle database, PostgreSQL, MongoDB. Okay, for storing of the data permanently, we are going to use the different kinds of databases. Okay, these many databases I have used in my 6 years of experience. And also I have used some AI tools, like a, if you go to the any company, for example, I will go to the Accenture, I will go to the Amazon company, I will go to the Infosys or TCS. If you go to the any company, so the companies are giving GitHub Copilot access. Okay, how we are chatting with the chat GPT, right? Every day we are chatting with the chat GPT, right? Chat GPT, DeepSeek, okay, and Perplexity. Okay, we know about these tools, right? Why? Because we can use freely, right? So how we are chatting with the chat GPT, DeepSeek, and Perplexity in the company, they are giving the GitHub Copilot. Okay, this GitHub Copilot is developed by Microsoft company. Okay, it is managing Microsoft company. Okay, this GitHub Copilot in our local system we can use 1 month free. After that we need to pay the money, like ₹1,000 per month we need to pay. Okay, and also we can use the freely also this GitHub Copilot. Okay, if you use the student for like a this Microsoft company, it is giving the free for the students. If we upload our student ID card, we can use freely for lifetime. Okay, no need to pay even single rupee also. If you want to use freely in our local system, instead of purchasing ₹1,000 per month, we can use freely. Okay, otherwise if you don't have any, like if you are having some money, then you need to pay the money per month. We need to pay ₹1,000. Okay, so like this, if you want to use in our local system, we can use, but the companies is paying the money for the GitHub Copilot. Okay, there is having the licensed version, guys. Okay, after paying, like after paying the companies, we are going to get the tokens. Okay, we are going to get the 100 tokens, 100% of the tokens we are going to get. Okay, 100% of the tokens we are going to get. Okay, based on the request, the token will be removed. Okay, for example, I will send the 3 requests. Okay, request nothing but a one chatting, guys. For example, if you open the chat GPT, okay, I am sending the request. Okay, if I enter hi, this is one request. Okay, this is one request. Okay, so in the company, based on the request, this percentage will be reduced. Okay, but in my company, it's mandated to complete the 70% of the tokens. In my company, we need to complete the 70% of the token. Okay, they will monitor how much Copilot we are using. Okay, in the 100% of the Copilot tokens, we need to use the 70%. It is mandatory. Okay, so previously we are not using Copilot. Why? Because everything we are doing manually, right? But nowadays AI tools came into the picture. If you use the AI tools, our task will be completed within seconds. Okay, previously, like a 1 year back, whenever they are going to give you the 14 days of the task, guys. Okay, we are having the scrum, guys. Okay, we are having the scrum. Okay, so one scrum equal to 14 days, guys. Okay, one scrum equal to 14 days. Not we can call the some scrum, or we can call the sprint also. Okay, okay, one sprint equal to 14 days of the time. Okay, in the 14 days of time, okay, previously, so it is taking 1 week to complete the task. But nowadays, if you use the help of the GitHub Copilot, we can complete our task within 2 days. Okay, if you have some patience, we can complete our task within 1 day. Okay, if you know how to use the GitHub Copilot, in the GitHub Copilot, there is having the shortcuts. By using those shortcuts, we can complete our work quickly. Okay, so that's why every company using GitHub Copilot. Okay, if you go to the company, we need to raise the request for the GitHub Copilot. Okay, for example, in the company, I want to install the Notepad++, right? For example, I want to install the Notepad++. Okay, I want to install the Eclipse ID or STS ID. Okay, or IntelliJ ID. Okay, So in the company, who is going to install, guys, these tools? Who is going to install these tools? Are we going to install, like, I'm going to the browser, I want to install the Eclipse ID, such like this? Do we need to install manually? We don't have access to install any tools, guys, in the company. Okay, for the for the employees don't have any access for installing of the softwares. Then how to install the softwares in the company? In the company, like we need to create the ticket. Okay, I want to like there is having the tech like a tech team, guys, tech support team available. Okay, tech support team is going to install the software. We need to create the ticket. Okay, for example, I'm creating the ticket number 123. I have created. Okay, after creating the ticket, in the ticket we need to mention the I want notepad plus plus Eclipse ID or STS ID or IntelliJ ID. We need to mention in the ticket. Okay, then tech support team, they will take the ticket ID, then they will install the all these tools. Okay, we are not going to install manually. That is not recommended. Why? Because if you install manually into the like a if you install this tools in the company laptops, there's like a we are going to get the some issues, guys. Okay, the hackers is going to inject some issues. That's why downloading in the browser from the browser tools is not recommended. Why? Because there is having some location in the company. From that location they will install the softwares. Okay, in that location they will keep securely all the applications. Okay, if you install from the browser, it is going to get the some issues. They will hack our applications also. That's why we are not going to install the all the software. Just we are going to, not only my company, if you go to the any company, we need to create the ticket. Okay, after creating the ticket, in the ticket we need to mention I want notepad plus plus or Eclipse ID, STS ID, IntelliJ ID. Okay, and also I want a, so some person we are not going to get the Excel access also. Okay, Microsoft access. We need to raise the Microsoft access. For everything, we need to create the ticket. Then they will install the software securely. Okay, so like this we are having, and also for the GitHub Copilot also directly we are not going to get the access. Okay, we need to raise the ticket. Okay, ticket nothing but a incident, guys, in the company. Ticket nothing but a incident. We need to create the incident, then they will give the access for the GitHub Copilot. Directly we are not going to get the GitHub Copilot. Like it will take 1 week of time, or sometime it will take the 4 to 5 days for getting the GitHub Copilot. Okay, if you enter into the company, you need to ask to the your team members how to raise the request for the how to create the ticket for the GitHub Copilot or other tools. Like I want to use the Notepad plus or some other softwares or tools. How to raise the incident? Can you explain like that? You need to ask to your team members. They will give the some document or they will explain how to install the softwares. Okay, how to create the incident. Like this, we need to the companies are following the tools. Okay, so this is about the short like this is my introduction, and also I have divided this course into the 4 module, guys. Like a backend technologies. In the backend technologies, what I'm going to cover: Java, Java 8, J2EE. Okay, so by using Java 8, we can develop the which type of applications? Only standalone application, right? So what is the use of standalone application? The application which is running only one mission, that is called as a standalone application. Okay, so by using Java, only core Java, we are not able to develop the web applications. That's why Sun Microsystem people introduce the J2EE technology. Okay, in the J2EE technology, we are having JDBC, JSP, and servlets. Okay, but if you use the J2EE technology, it is a legacy technology. Legacy nothing but a old technology, guys. Okay, legacy nothing but old. Okay, J2EE technologies, they are having the JDBC, JSP, and servlets. These are the old technologies. Okay, but currently we are using the Spring Boot, guys. If you go to the any project, they are going to ask Spring Boot only. Okay, but if you want to learn the Spring Boot technology, first of all we need to concentrate on the J2W technology, J2W and Spring. Okay, why? Because this is Spring Boot internally uses the this J2W technology and Spring framework only. Okay, internally it is going, this Spring Boot is going to use the J2W and Spring framework. Okay, if you learn this J2W and Spring framework, then only you know the kick of Spring Boot framework. Otherwise you are not able to know the kick of Spring Boot. Why? Because we need to do manually everything here when we using a J2W technology and Spring framework, but everything automated in the Spring Boot framework. Okay, so if you want to know what are the things are automated in the Spring Boot, it should be we need to know the J2W technology and Spring technology, right? Spring framework. Okay, why? Because if you use the J2W technology, if you want to insert the student data or customer data, okay, or products data or books data, any kind of data, for every operation we need to write the 10 lines of the code. Okay, if you want to insert the data, we need to write the 10 lines of the code. If you want to update the data, we need to write the 10 lines of the code. If you want to get the data, we need to write the 10 lines of the code. If you want to delete the data, for the deletion of purpose also we need to write the 10 lines of the code. Okay, so every time we need to use the same kind of code, guys. Okay, every place we need to use the same kind of code. Okay, so that's why every place we are using the same kind of code. Every time we are writing the, like a, what are the types of code we are writing, like a same lines of the code. Register the driver. Okay, register the driver. Register the driver, get the connection from the database, get the connection. Okay, register the driver, get the connection, create statement. Okay, create statement or callable statement. Okay, create statement or prepare statement. Okay, create statement or prepare statement or callable statement. Okay, and execute the query, execute the query, process the result, and close the connection. Okay, like this, here we need to write the 10 lines of the code. Okay, I want to insert the student data into the database. We need to write the 10 lines of the code like this. Same code only we need to write 10 times. Okay, whenever reading the data, whenever getting the data, like a student data or books data, any kind of data, for that also we need to write the same code. Okay, for the update purpose also we need to write the same kind of code. For the deletion also we need to write the same kind of code. So this is the duplicate code. Why we need to write at the same time, right? Every time we are writing. So that's why in the Spring Boot they are automated these lines of the code. Okay, no need to write the 10 lines of the code. You can write only one line of the code for each operation. Okay, for the insertion purpose we need to write the one line. For the updation purpose or reading purpose or getting purpose, one line of the code. Okay, for the updation purpose, okay, for the updation purpose also we need to write the one line of the code. For the deletion purpose also we need to write the one line of the code. Okay, everything automated in the Spring Boot. That's why if we learn the Spring Boot framework, we can develop our application within seconds. Okay, so if you use the J2W technology, we need to write the lot of code. Okay, if you write the lot of code, we are going to get the lot of issues. Okay, lot of exceptions we are going to get, and also whenever doing the monitoring, right? Whenever doing the monitoring also, it is very difficult. Okay, if you are having the less code, we can easily monitor. If you are having more code, we are going to get the more issues. We are monitoring also very complex. That's why Spring Boot came into the picture. And also we are having the microservices, guys. This is very important. If you go to the IT interview or non-IT interview, if you go any interview, they are going to ask the microservices. Okay, there is having lot of advantages in the microservices. Okay, I will draw some architecture, then I will explain about the microservices. Then you can understand what is the kick of microservices. Okay, I'm taking the Excel draw here. I'm going to explain microservices. Why? Because it is very, very important. Okay, it is very, very important. I will explain in by using architecture. Okay, so I'm taking some make my trip application. Okay, actually we can develop any kind of application two ways, guys. Okay, actually we can develop any kind of application two ways. Okay, monolithic application and microservice application. Okay, first one is monolithic application, second one is microservice application. Okay, first of all, what is monolithic we will see. Okay, if you know about the monolithic, then you can understand easily microservices architecture. Okay, so if you develop all the functionalities, okay, if you develop all the functionalities in a single project. Okay, for example, I have one project. Okay, make my trip project. Okay, what is the project name? Make my trip project. Okay, if you develop all the functionality in the single project. Okay, for the flight booking process, for the flight booking functionality, I have developed in the same project. Okay, and also for the hotels booking also, for the hotel booking functionality, I have developed the in the same project. Okay, so currently I'm using make my trip project. Okay, this is the make my trip application. Okay, so this is the make my trip application. I'm using monolithic application. Okay, if you develop all the functionality in the single project, this is the one project. In this project, I'm developing the flights booking functionality, I'm developing the hotels booking functionality, and also I'm developing the trains booking functionalities. Okay, trains booking functionality, and also I have developed the buses booking functionality. Okay, and also I have developed the cabs booking functionality. Okay, so like this I have developed some functionalities, guys. Like this I have developed some booking functionalities. Okay, what are the functionality I have developed? We can book the flights, we can book the hotels, we can book the trains, we can book the buses and cabs, right? So like this I have developed application by using the monolithic. Okay, first of all, what is monolithic here? Monolithic nothing but if you develop all the functionality in the single project. Okay, in the single project we have developed the all the projects, that is called as a monolithic application. Okay, for example, whenever booking the trains, at the time of the booking trains, I'm getting the issue like a payment failure issue I'm getting. Okay, like I am booking the train, at the time of the train booking my payment is failed. Okay, payment functionality is not working. At the time what we need to do, guys, we need to stop the flights booking functionality. We need to, like if you want to check what is the issue in the trains booking functionality, we need to stop the flights booking, we need to stop the hotels booking, we need to stop the buses booking, we need to stop the cabs booking. Okay, so for the make my trip application, how many customers available? For example, if you take the 1 lakh customers. Okay, 1 lakh customers available, I'm taking less amount of the customers. Okay, so we're having the different kinds of functionality. Currently I'm booking the trains booking. Okay, at the time it's not booking, some issue is there, some issue is there in the trains booking. Okay, that's why I am a developer, I want to check in the trains booking functionality. Okay, if you want to check in the trains booking functionality, we need to stop all the application, all the functionalities, like a flights booking, hotel booking, buses booking, cabs booking, right? So for example, I will stop the 1 minute of the time. Okay, I will stop the 1 minute of the time. how much, like how much loss we are going to get here for 1 minute, for 1 lakh customers accessing at a time my application. At the time, how much loss we are going to get for the 1 lakh customer? For example, 1 lakh customers are booking my tickets. As of now, we are having many customers. 1 lakh customers are booking my application. At the time, if you stop 1 minute of time, okay, if you stop 1 minute of time, so for example, one person is paying 1,000 rupees. Okay, one person is paying 1,000 rupees. Okay, for the booking purpose. This is average I'm taking. For the flights, it is going to take more money, right? So I'm taking 1,000 rupees, right? How much amount we are going to lose here? 1 lakh into 1,000. Okay, 1 lakh into 1,000. Okay, so if you do 1 lakh into 1,000, okay, this is the 1 lakh. So 1,000 means we need to add the 3 zeros. Okay, this much money we are going to lose in the 1 minute of time. Okay, so our business is going to collapse if we stop only 1 minute of the time. So we are going to lose this much money, right? So that's why developing monolithic application is not recommended, right? So if something is not working, we need to stop all the functionality. If we stop all the functionality few minutes of the time, so our business is going to collapse, right? So that's why one of the best architecture is came into the picture, microservices architecture. Okay, so that's why every company, every project, they're developing based on the microservices architecture. Okay, so first of all, what is monolithic application, guys? If you develop all the functionality in the single project, okay, single jar file. Okay, we are having the in the Java, we are going to call the jar file, guys. Jar nothing but a Java archive. Okay, first of all, what is jar here? Okay, for example, I have some birthday. Okay, my birthday tomorrow. I have a birthday. At the time, what we need to, in the bakery shop, we are going to order the cake, right? Okay, tomorrow my birthday. Tomorrow my birthday. So in the bakery shop, I have ordered the cake. Okay, the bakery person is how the cake is going to deliver, guys. The bakery person how cake is going to deliver in the box, right? In the box, they are going to deliver the cake, right? So similarly, here also after developing the Java project, we are going to deliver into the jar file format. Okay, jar file. Okay, jar nothing but a Java archive. Okay, this is the file. In this file, okay, in this file, we are going to deliver into the customers. Okay, we are having the customers, right? For example, some people are keeping some institute, right? So for that institute, that the customers is available. Okay, for that customers, we are going to deliver into the jar format. Okay, how we are delivering the cake into the box, in the box. Similarly, our application is going to deliver into the jar file format. Okay, so what is monolithic application here? If you develop all the functionality in the single jar file, so that is called as a monolithic application. Okay, similarly, coming to the microservice architecture, why in the market lot of demand available for the microservice architecture. Okay, if you go any interview, why they are going to concentrating in the microservice architecture. Okay, so whenever using the microservice architecture, so first of all, what is microservices here? If you develop all the functionality separately, okay, if you develop all the functionality as a separate jar file or separate service. Okay, for example, we are having the flight booking, right? So if you develop flight, like we need to develop separate flight booking services separately. Okay, this is a separate service, separate functionality. Okay, for the hotels also, we are going to keep separate functionality. Okay, for the trains also, we are going to keep as a separate functionality. Okay, for the buses, we are going to keep in the separate functionality. Okay, for the cabs also, we need to keep separately. Okay, so if we develop all the functionalities separately, okay, if we develop all the functionalities separate as a separate jar file, if we develop all the functionalities as a separate jar file, that is called as a microservice architecture. Okay, every service we are going to call as a one jar file. Okay, so here if you use the monolithic application, okay, all the functionality we are going to keep into this same jar file. Okay, this is one jar file. Okay, this is the same jar. In the jar file we are implemented all the functionality. Okay, so similarly if we develop all the functionalities as a separate jar file, okay, for the flight booking one jar file, for the hotel booking another jar file, for the trains separate jar file, for the buses separate jar file, for the cabs separate jar file. Okay, if we develop all the functionalities as a separate jar file, that is called as a microservice architecture. Okay, why? Because if we are getting any issue in the any functionality, for example, similarly we are getting the some issue in the trains booking functionality, at the time what we need to guys, so we need to stop only, we need to stop only trains booking functionality only. Okay, remaining functionalities able to work properly. Why? Because these services are the separate projects. Okay, flights booking separate project, hotels booking separate project, buses booking separate, cabs booking project also separate project. Okay, if you develop all the projects separately, that is called as a microservice architecture. Okay, so here also some booking other persons, right? At the time the remaining functionality is able to work 24/7 hours. Okay, every second, every minute, every hour it is going to work. Okay, that's why our business is not going to collapse. Okay, if you use monolithic application, our business is going to collapse. Why? Because if you're not working the cabs booking functionality, we need to stop the entire functionality. Okay, that is the disadvantage available whenever using the monolithic. Okay, this is the advantages available in the microservice. Okay, that's why they are going to ask many times about the microservice architecture. Okay, this is about the monolithic and microservice. Okay, so this is the monolithic. This is the microservice architecture. Okay, first one is the monolithic, second one is the microservice architecture. That's why microservices architecture is very important, guys. Okay, similarly we are going to use like some applications we are going to use the same databases, guys, for the flights booking, hotels booking, trains booking, buses booking, cabs booking. So some projects they are going to use the same databases for storing of the data. For flights booking, hotels booking, trains booking, buses booking, they are going to use one database. Like for example, I'm using the MySQL database. Okay, for all. Okay, for the flights booking, for the hotels booking, for the trains booking, for the buses booking, and for the cabs booking, we are going to use the same database. Okay, some projects. Okay, some projects we can use the same project, same database. For example, I'm using MySQL database. Okay, like this they will use. But some other projects, they will use the different databases. Okay, some other database, some other projects. Okay, some other projects they will use the different database. For example, for the flights booking, we can use the one database like a MySQL database. Okay, separate database. For the hotels booking, we can use the separate database. Okay, for example, I want to use the Oracle database. Okay, for the hotel booking, I want to use the Oracle database. Okay, and also for the trains booking, we can use the PGSQL. Okay, PostgreSQL. Okay, for the cabs booking and buses booking. Okay, for the cabs booking and buses booking, we can use the same databases. Okay, for example, I'm using the MongoDB here. MongoDB, we can use the for the two services. Okay, for the two functionalities, we can use the same database also. For the three functionalities also, we can use the same database. For example, I want to use the MongoDB here. Okay, so like this, we can use the different kinds of functionality with the different databases or common databases in the real time. Okay, so whenever developing the application, we need to follow this architecture. Okay, this microservices architecture is a not fixed architecture. Based on the project to project, the architecture will be changed. Okay, currently we are using the make my trip application booking functionality, but for example, if you're developing the banking application, the microservice architecture will be changed. Okay, so project to project, the architecture will be changed. Okay, it is microservice architecture is not a fixed architecture. It is going to change the project to project. Okay, so who is going to design like this, guys, in the company? Who is going to design which database we are going to use, which functionality we need to implement? For the flights booking, we need to use the MySQL database only. Other database no need to use like that. Who is going to fix the databases and services? We are having the architect, guys, architect available in the companies. Architect is going to decide which functionality we need to use and which databases we need to use, which databases we are going to use the common. Everything will be decided by architecture. Okay, so like this, we're having the microservice architecture. This is very, very important. Okay, so like this, we're having the microservices, very, very important. And also, for example, if you open the Spring Boot also very, very important, right? How the Spring Boot available? If you know the some pics, you can get some idea. Yeah. So if you see this example, you can easily understand the Spring Boot. Okay. Yeah. So if you see here, whenever preparing the cake, at the time we are having some ingredients, right? Some ingredients available, direct cake available. Okay, Spring framework is nothing but a separate ingredients. Okay, everything we need, like if you want to prepare the cake, we need some ingredients, right? So Spring framework having different kinds of ingredients. Spring Boot is directly cake. Okay, so this is like a whenever preparing the chicken curry or any curries, we need to prepare manually everything whenever using the Spring framework. Okay, but if it's the Spring Boot framework, now everything like a Zomato and Swiggy directly order is like a directly everything is ready. Just we are going to order the food and we are going to get the food. Then directly we can eat. Okay, and also we're having the JDBC technology, right? So JDBC nothing but a, it is having some like it is having some modules, but in the Spring Boot everything we need to do manually. Okay, we need to go to the shops. We need to purchase in the shops. But here already kept in like a in a single position. If you use the JDBC technology, it is available different positions. Okay, so like this, they're giving some architecture. Okay, and also we are having the, yeah, we know about the standalone applications, and also front end technology. In the module 2, we are covering the front end technologies. Okay, what are the front end technologies available nowadays? Okay, React and Angular having the lot of demand in the market. Okay, for example, if you search in the Naukari portal, okay, if you search in the Naukari portal, like how many jobs available. Okay, I'm searching the full stack Java. Okay, full stack Java. In the, like, I'm having some experience, like a minimum 3 years of experience we need to keep, and also the location Hyderabad. Okay, I'm searching. Okay, in the Hyderabad only, how many jobs available? 18,630 jobs available. Okay, see here for the which company, this one Analogy company, they're using the Java Spring Boot. Okay, and Hibernate. And also if you see here, so they're using like a software engineer, RESTful services. Okay, and also this is a Accenture company. HTML, they're asking SQL microservices. Okay, see here they're asking the microservices, right? Docker available. Okay, so in the AWS we are going to set up in the Docker and Java Git. Okay, if you go here, RESTful services HTML5, so same company, same requirement. Okay, if you see here, Java development, Spring Boot, AWS. Okay, Spring Boot AWS combination is very, very important here. Okay, why? Because like everything, like we are going to develop the project, we are going to test the project, and we are going to deploy the project. Okay, everything the programmer will be do everything from starting to ending position if you use the AWS. Okay, that's why in the market we are having, like I'm getting lot of call for like I'm kept some experience, 6+ years of experience. Daily I'm getting 50 calls, guys, nowadays. For the checking purpose, I kept the I kept the my profile in the Naukari. Daily I'm getting 50 calls. Okay, so that much demand is available for the Java. Okay, so if you see here, also same requirement. Okay, see here also HCL company also asking Spring Boot and AWS. Why I'm covering AWS, guys, here? Why I'm covering AWS here? I'm going to cover the AWS also. Why I'm telling here? Why? Because if you want to get the calls, if you want to crack the interview, AWS is mandatory. Without AWS also, you are not able to crack the interview. Okay, in the AWS there is having the some services, guys. EC2 service available. Okay, and also we are having the S3 bucket service available. Okay, S3 bucket, RDS service available, Route 53 available. Okay, Route 53 service available. Okay, Lambdas available. Okay, so like this we're having many services, 200 service available. Okay, 200+ services available. But what is the content, what are the services for required for the Java developer? Those services I am going to teach. Okay, so for example, we are set up by using EC2 machine, we can set up the laptops, right? We can set up the computers. But what is the use of S3 bucket, guys? What is the use of S3 bucket? Okay, if you open the YouTube channel, okay, if you open the YouTube channel, okay, we are having the videos, right? We are having the many videos. Okay, so this videos where it's storing, guys? This videos where it's storing? In the S3 bucket only. Okay, S3 bucket nothing but a simple storage service. Okay, so if you want to store the files, okay, if you want to store the files, different kinds of files, we can use the S3 bucket. For example, I want to store the audio file, I want to store the video files. Okay, I want to store the audio file or video file or PDF file or Excel file or Word file. Okay, or any kind of files, or image file. Okay, any kind of file. If you want to store the any kind of files, we can use the S3 bucket. S3 bucket nothing but a simple storage service. Okay, it is having unlimited storage. It is having unlimited storage. We can store any number of time. Okay, we can store any much of like any amount of data we can store. at any point of location we can store. Okay, any amount of data we can store, and at any point of location also we can store into the S3 bucket. Okay, AWS is providing some service like a S3 service available. We can store the data into this S3 bucket. Unlimited data we can store. Okay, in the videos also, if you open the YouTube channel, in this YouTube channel there is having the lot of content, right? Every day every person like who are having the YouTube channel, that person is going to upload the videos. Okay, while uploading the videos, that videos will be storing into the in this location. Okay, so that's why S3 bucket also very important. Okay, in the company we are having the Excel files, right? PDF files, where it is going to store. For example, while uploading the resume, we are having the Naukri portal. In the Naukri portal, okay, in the Naukri portal I am uploading the resume, right? In the Naukri portal I am uploading the resume. I have uploaded my resume. Where it is storing? This is the text file, right? This is the file. Where it is storing? It is storing into the S3 bucket only. Okay, whenever uploading the some files, those files is going to store into the S3 bucket. Okay, so here all the files available, audio files available. Okay, the audio files are storing into the S3 bucket. Okay, but text data about the description, right? Description about the video, this description will be stored into the databases. By using the databases, okay, by using the databases, we're having the databases, guys. By using the databases we can store the text data. Okay, in the databases we can store the text data. Okay, if we use the databases we can use this, we can store the text data. If you want to store the binary data, okay, if you want to store the any kind of files data, nothing but a binary data. Okay, if you want to store the binary data, we can use the S3 bucket in the real time. Okay, and also we're having the RDS service, guys. RDS nothing but a relational database service. Okay, as of now, like in the whenever learning at the time, we are going to set up the database in our local system, right? For example, if you open the MySQL database, okay, this is available in my local system. Okay, this is available in my local system, right? So if you're having my local system, I'm only can access. Okay, this database available in the my local system. That's why I can access this. Okay, you are not able to access. Others not able to access. But because all the data available in my local system, not able to access other person. Okay, and also this is a not secure, right? Okay, this databases is not secure. Okay, it is not a permanent. Why? Because if we corrupt this database, okay, if we corrupted this database, the data we are going to lose. Okay, this data we will lose. Okay, and also it is a not secure. Okay, for example, if I give laptop to other person, okay, if I give this laptop to the other person, they will corrupt the my software, right? If you corrupt the software means, if the corrupt software means we are not going to get the data, right? And also if the laptop is available 24/7 on, then only we will get the data, right? If we stop the application, if we shut down the laptop, at the time we are not going to get the data. Okay, and also like if you want to maintain the data in my local, every like a power is required, right? Security is required. Okay, and also we need some, for example, if you delete the data, okay, if you delete the some databases, okay, backup is required. Okay, if you're having some data, some backup is required. Okay, so like this, some disadvantages is there if we set up our databases in the local. Okay, that's why in the company, by using RDS service, they are going to set up the databases. Okay, so this AWS is company providing the RDS service. RDS nothing but a relational database service. Okay, we can set up in like a whenever running the application. Okay, all the text data where is going to store, the videos is going to store into the S3 bucket. About the video description, it is going to store into the RDS service. In the RDS service, we are going to set up the these databases. We can set up the MySQL database, we can set up the Oracle database, PGSQL. Okay, these relational databases we can set up in the RDS service. Okay, so like this we're having many services, guys. Like I am going to explain, If you go to the interview, what are the services they are going to ask? Those services I'm going to cover. Okay, AWS is very, very important. Okay, so those things are required, guys. Any doubts, online students? I'm also completed. Any doubts, Maruti, Damodar, Varun,
No
Raja?
doubt.
Okay, thanks for joining, guys. With this, I'm closing the session. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, okay, guys. With this, I'm closing the session. Thank you for joining. I have another demo also. Thank you.